What's going on YouTube? It is your boy GZTV back with another video, and in this video we will be discussing the latest Dexter episode I watched. I watched episode 6 last night. Today we're going to get to season 10 of The Walking Dead. Decent amounts going on here. We're trying to get through some of these shows. I have other shows kind of lined up for the future. I know my hair looks like shit. I just got out of the shower, but it's all good. Let's just talk about Dexter. So Dexter follows Travis in a marketplace, hoping that he will eventually lead him to Professor James Geller. And he gets the call, Brother Sam got shot, so he has to leave the scene. So obviously it's convenient for Travis because he was just about to confront James Geller and he had no idea that Dexter was following him. So he got let off there, and yeah, I don't know. Geller's going to get tired of Travis, and it's really interesting because there's two antagonists, so you would think it'd be a lot more powerful than any other antagonist we've had. But the fact of the matter is that Travis doesn't want to do any of this, so Geller's left doing a lot of the work, and Travis is like almost going against him a lot. So it's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out. So Dexter arrives at the scene as the EMTs are rushing Sam to the hospital, so he's kind of just taking it all in, like what exactly happened at the crime scene. He's explaining to everyone. Yeah, and Leo Hernandez was the man that he beat with the bat, and this is the guy that is pretty much calling the shots. And that's pretty much the prime suspect for Dexter right now, and pretty soon the police officers or Miami Metro is going to figure this out as well. Meanwhile, Deborah feels the pressure of being avoided by her friends due to her position as their superior, and she barely has time to catch up on the work. And she wants to be friends with them. She wants to have nice conversations with them. But obviously her and Quinn are in a great place in their relationship. Obviously she made Detective over Batista, so it gets awkward and all that sort of stuff. Dexter visits Sam at the hospital and promises that his dark passenger will make amends. So yeah. Batista and Quinn unravel Geller's plan to sacrifice 7 people to bring on the end of the world in a manner depicted in his journal. So they are trying to predict some things. They're trying to get his plan for his crimes, and they're realizing they're taking place right now with the Doomsday killings. So Chris Porter was in an artistic thing that was super graphic for him. And yeah. Meanwhile, in Geller's hideout, Travis heats up a branding iron with the Alpha Omega symbol to mark Holly Benson, the kidnapped woman, and she's supposedly going to be the whore of Babylon, I think was the name of that article in the Revelations, or the legend, the myth, whatever you want to call that, the scenario. Angel tells Deborah that he and Quinn will be traveling to Tallahassee to interview Carissa Porter, but Deborah insists that she just come to Miami so they can handle Metro Homicide, and that sucks because obviously it's going to be really awkward when Quinn has to go in there and talk to her. After dark, Dexter parks down the street from Leo's house, but there's a party going on, so he returns home, realizes, hey, I probably shouldn't do this in front of a bunch of people. Dexter misses his friendship with brother Sam since Sam saw his darkness and wanted him to follow the path of light. And he's had plenty of relationships like this over the seasons, over the run of the show. And he lost another one. He can't have a long-term, and that's something the show kind of builds itself on. Deborah reveals to her psychiatrist that she feels that her world has been turned upside down since her promotion to lieutenant, and it's been really hard for her to kind of handle everything. And yeah, she has a lot on her plate. Dexter parks by Leo's house to wait for him. Anderson also shows up with the police. And he goes around the street, down the alleyway, finds this crack user, this addict, and a customer, and he tells him Leo Hernandez is running everything. So Anderson shows up to the house before Dexter can. It's a really awkward moment. Leo dies. They raid his house, and that. The police deduce that Leo was the culprit. He was the one that shot Brother Sam. And looking at the security footage, Eli's dog didn't act up, and he realizes the only person that would happen to is Nick. And Nick's Dexter's yeah, Nick was the shooter. It wasn't Leo. We're mistaken. Elsewhere, Travis begins storing his blood in several jars for an unknown purpose. It's probably for one of their weird rituals or artistic things. Yeah. Dexter breaks into Nick's place and finds the bullet that he shot at Brother Sam when he was high. And he matches it up and all the markings, because different bullets and different casings have unique it's so people are identifiable, right? That's why they do it. They have different patterns on, not patterns, but they were made specifically, I guess. Yeah. And they match. So Batista interrogates Carissa regarding her relation with Geller, but all goes wrong as Deborah orders Quinn to join the interrogation, and Porter reveals she snitches and says that they hooked up. So yeah. Quinn's affair is exposed, Carissa's loss as a key witness, and the Doomsday Killer case is not getting that much progress anymore. Brother Sam regains consciousness, but his condition begins to deteriorate, and he's probably not going to make it, and he probably doesn't have long. And he wants Dexter to forgive Nick, send a message, and all that stuff. Meanwhile, Deborah holds a housewarming party at her beach house, but it's interrupted by a drunken Quinn who brings a date and brings up the fact that this is his ex-girlfriend's house, and she gets pissed and runs away from him. So this is where Quinn's at in his life. He's not in a great spot. As Travis prepares to give the woman the mark, he instead shows mercy by letting her go. He just can't do this. He can't carry this out. He's not as evil as Geller is. And Geller may be oh, God's telling me to do this, and trying to justify it, but he's a piece of shit, you know? At the party, Quinn becomes rude towards Jamie and is punched by Batista, and Quinn ends up leaving in a cab after causing a huge scene. So after receiving word of Sam's death, Dexter is hesitant to agree to Sam's dying wish by just letting Nick go. He takes Nick to the beach, knows Nick's the shooter. Nick's kind of nervous and oh my goodness, he died, no way. He acted like he didn't know. I'm pretty sure he was literally at the hospital. Yeah. But then he starts laughing, and he starts going insane. He's ha, you think I did this and you're accusing me of doing this? You'll never catch me. But immediately after killing Nick, Dexter's darkness, represented as Brian Moser, appears, clapping his hands, and wow. After drowning Nick in the same waters he was baptized. So it's a really weird, really crazy, honestly, full circle moment for Nick. And it's going to be interesting because the cliffhanger is not really a cliffhanger at all. It's just the continuation of Dexter's very dark life. I mean, obviously he has a good life. He has a good job. He has a kid. He has a sister. All that. He lives a nice life. It's just what he does in the background, what he does in his free time. He has a very dark passenger, and obviously that's a big topic in the show. And that's going to start to ramp up, because he killed this guy without really concrete evidence. He pretty much suspected him of doing it, and he drowned him instead of carrying out Brother Sam, a super religious guy's message. He's going against God and lets the darkness take over, just exactly like Sam told him not to. And so it's going to be interesting moving forward with the show. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Do all this stuff. And obviously the Doomsday Killers are still on the loose, and that's going to be a really cool case to follow as we get through this season. Obviously every season sets up for something like that, but I gotta go.